Hey everybody, what's up? It's Dan Harris, host of the Fantasy Pros Football Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about my top 10 waiver wire pickups for Week 7 of the 2020 fantasy football season. Let's start here with Preston Williams. Williams isn't a crazy priority this week, given that the Dolphins are on bye in Week 7 and that he's seen just 8 targets combined over the past 2 games. But he has found the end zone in each, and when you watch him running routes, you can see that he is returning to full strength slowly but surely. Remember, he's coming off ACL surgery, so it's likely taken him a bit of time to get back into form. He could be a solid wide receiver 3 over the second half of the season, so if you've got room, go ahead and add him. Next up is Dallas Goedert. Like Williams, Goedert isn't going to help you immediately. Although he's eligible to be activated off injured reserve, he hasn't been as of this recording, and even when he is, the Eagles still have 21 days to add him to their active roster. But Zach Ertz is likely out a month, and the Eagles are desperate for pass catchers. Long term, Goedert is going to be a tight end 1 when he returns. That's worth an add, and an immediate one if you have the room. Next up is Keelan Cole. Even with DJ Chark active and seeing 14 targets, Cole thrived in Week 6, pulling in 9 catches for 143 yards. He's yet to see fewer than 5 targets in any game, and he already has 3 touchdowns on the season. Now, he's not the alpha in the Jacksonville offense. That goes to DJ Chark and or James Robinson, but Cole provides production more often than not. It's not a great schedule upcoming. He's got the Chargers and then a bye. But Cole is someone who should be rostered in fantasy leagues, albeit for a small fat bit. Next up, let's talk about Alshon Jeffrey. Jeffrey shouldn't require a significant fab bid at this point, and as of this recording, we have no idea if he's even going to play on Thursday night against the Giants. But Jeffrey has been able to produce like a wide receiver 2 when he's been healthy in his career, and the Eagles now get the Giants, Cowboys, Giants, Browns, and Seahawks in their next 5 games. Don't look at Jeffrey as a savior, but particularly with Zach Ertz set to miss time, he should be added to fantasy rosters. Next on the list is Giovani Bernard. Now, as of this recording, we don't know Joe Mixon's injury status in terms of his foot. He left Week 6's game against the Colts, then returned, then left again. If Mixon is out this week against the Browns, Bernard should be one of, if not the single top ad of the week. He's had success in the past without Mixon present, and he should factor in heavily into the passing game if he gets the lead role. Now, if Mixon is healthy and going to play in Week 7, then Bernard can be added, but he's not a priority one. More of a high-end handcuff, particularly because Mixon is not at 100%, even if he does play. Next up is Tim Patrick. I'm not sure what Tim Patrick needs to do to get added by fantasy managers at this point. Sure, he didn't score a touchdown for the 3rd straight week, but he did top 100 yards receiving again, and that's despite being guarded by Stephon Gilmore for much of the game. Yes, when Noah Fant returns, he will take back some targets, but Courtland Sutton is out for the season, and Jerry Jeudy just is not getting the targets or producing. The Broncos are past their bye week, and you're out of excuses. Pick up Patrick now. At number 4, it's Travis Fulgham. You obviously cannot argue with Fulgham's recent production. 23 targets, 16 catches, 227 yards, and 2 touchdowns over the last 2 games. He's actually scored in 3 straight. Now look, there is a little uncertainty here. What do things look like when Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey return? But now, with no Zach Ertz, Fulgham's outlook is a little clearer. He's got a great connection with Carson Wentz, and there was a report that his role is locked in regardless of the other receivers. He's an immediate add, and you'll justifiably need a big bid to get him. Next up is Mike Williams. We still don't know what things are going to look like with a healthy Keenan Allen, which we should see this week. Williams was a stud against the Saints, but it's a lot easier to do that when Allen is not getting the 13 plus targets per game that he had averaged with Justin Herbert. He's immensely talented, but it's much more about what his role is going to be. With that said, Herbert has the arm and the you only live once attitude that is exactly what Williams needs to thrive. And like Tim Patrick, he's past his bye week, which only further increases his value. At number 2, let's talk about Justin Jackson. Now, we don't want to jump to too many conclusions based on one game, but Jackson was certainly the better running back against the Saints in Week 5. He outsnapped, outtouched, and outproduced Joshua Kelly, And if we knew for certain that this was how things would look without Austin Eckler, Jackson would be the no-brainer top ad of the week. But we don't. Not for sure, at least. Kelly looked great early in the season, and one bad game isn't enough to be confident that there's been a full-on changing of the guard. Still, at worst, Jackson will sit in a 50-50 timeshare for the foreseeable future on a team with a ton of favorable matchups upcoming, so there's every reason to add him. And your top waiver wire pickup of the week is Boston Scott. At the very least, we know that Miles Sanders is out for this week against the Giants on Thursday. And with the Eagles on bye in Week 9, there is every reason to expect the team to play it safe and hold out Sanders in Week 8 against the Cowboys. However it works out, this is a starting running back for at least a week and maybe 2, and that's worth a ton. It's true that Scott flopped in his chance without Sanders early in the season, but he also battled injury, and we did see him succeed over the final 4 games last year. Now with the Eagles decimated by injury, Scott should be heavily involved in the passing game and offer a high 1 or 2 week floor. Win now, worry about the future later. Scott's a premium ad off the waiver wire in Week 7. Thanks for tuning in to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. Make sure to check out all of our featured videos. And don't forget to follow us over on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at FantasyPros so you don't miss all the latest news and you can get an edge in all of your fantasy leagues.